Hi, this is Nancy Yearout, and welcome to my show, High Road to Humanity. In every episode, I tell you powerful true stories filled with great wisdom that you can use in your own life as you strive for a higher road to travel. My featured guests will have their own unique stories to tell that enlighten your mind and your soul. So kick back, relax, and learn the secret to success when you take the high road.
First touch, strong connection, it lays deep in your soul.
Hi, this is Nancy Yearout, and welcome to High Road to Humanity. And guess who's here today? I've got Cirsten W here today, and I usually talk about what's going on with humanity, but I'll tell you what, she has this book out. It's called Intel Drops. I'm holding it up. If you're watching me on my YouTube channel, you guys need to check this out. I'm going to read you her bio in a second. The only thing I want to mention is if you do want a psychic reading, you can go to my website, go to my calendar, and you can book there, okay? Because people ask me, and that's how you do it. All right, let me tell you a little bit about Cirsten, and she's friends with Gene Decode, and Gene and I had a conversation, and he's like, "You got to have this girl on my show, on your show," and I'm so glad she's here today. So, but before I bring her on, Cirsten W is an author. She's an influencer and a public intel analyst, originally from Singapore. Now, her book, Singaporean Thoughts, was released in 2016. As a child growing up in Singapore, Kirsten, I'm sorry, never dreamed she would grow up to become an international model, cover girl, and actress. She earned her Bachelor's of Science degree at the young age of 18 from Loma Linda University, which afforded her the opportunities to visit California, Hawaii, New York, Europe, Singapore, and Japan. Now, from her Singapore heritage, she was always naturally a conservative capitalist. Kirsten has appeared in the film about the musical group The Doors. However, this led to her having a lifestyle of being a real partier in the 90s. And she came to know God. And so it's changed things for her. She has had a couple of really cool shows out there on interior design. She lives in Florida. And right now she's exposing criminals and corruption. And I have to just say, I'm so happy you're here today on High Road to
Thank you.
Humanity. Welcome.
I'm glad to be here. It's been a very, very stressful day. Let's put it that way.
Well, talk to the audience about your book if you'd like to, Kirsten.
Okay, sure. It's
This
been
is
a
it.
very, very stressful day. They've nuked my book. Basically, it's gone. Okay.
Amazon.
Yeah, never. They said that because I had all kinds of stuff that some of it was from online, but most of my stuff is military intel that's not online. Basically, they said that you've got to take down all those pictures that you can get online. That's crap. I just checked with someone. That's untrue. You don't have to do that. That's unnecessary for you to
So
do
they're
that.
censoring you is what they're doing.
Basically, they're censoring me, and they're not paying me because they owe me a huge amount of money in royalties because I sold that book worldwide. It was number one in political intrigue, political espionage, in three categories. It was number one. And it was number one in Japan, number one in Canada. And yeah, they pretty much wiped out my account. So I can't even upload a new manuscript. They made me take all pictures off. I'm done. I just want them to pay me at this point, and then I'm going to probably go on a certain show, like a Project Veritas, who I've been talking to, and expose the crap out of them, because that's what I do. I like to expose criminals, and that's what all this book is about. I expose Newsweek, I expose CNN, I expose the Newsweek that did the two hit articles on me. I expose CNN, I expose CIA. They're all controlled by the CIA, so CIA created CNN, so that would be called the CNN syndrome, where they brainwash you. So basically, I expose them all with pictures and everything else.
Well, and I read your book, and you do say the CIA, you call them the clowns in America, and you say that, well, you start off by saying they had the Operation Paperclip, where they brought 1,600 Nazi scientists here after World War II. And then you do say that CNN was created by the CIA, and I did not know that. But that makes sense, total sense. That's how that happened. One thing I want to talk to you about. I'm in New Mexico, and it's hot, man. It's hot. And I want to talk about the weather, because that was one thing I read in your book. I've always felt like they were controlling the weather, but can you And I don't know where your information came from or how your research came about, but can you talk about this? Because,
New Mexico has huge, deep underground military bases
right,
that are linked to NASA, where they basically create the chemtrails and other things.
okay,
Okay.
right.
And I used to remember the name of the base
Is it
exactly.
Sandia?
San, no,
No.
it's some San something.
Okay,
If you say
okay,
the right name, I'll remember it.
okay, all right.
Jean could
Well,
probably tell you because Jean knows everything. And
okay.
yeah, so basically they
Well, we
are
have Kirkland Air Force Base here in Albuquerque, and
right.
we have Sandia Labs here. We have a lot of mountains, and I've
Maybe
always,
it is maybe it's in Sandia Labs. It sounds
yeah,
like it could be,
Sandia
yeah.
Laboratories. Yeah,
Yeah.
so that's where the chemtrail chemical is made in order to distribute it. Go back to the weather a little bit, and I know you say, you know a lot of this information. You talk about in the book that the deep state created. You say they developed weapons, um, and you talk about also the warfare with the weather. You say it's a weather warfare, and you say there's weapons. There's two different things there, but the weather
Okay, well,
warfare.
weather warfare, they always say climate change, climate change, climate change. It's basically weather warfare, okay? So if you
Okay,
go through the seven things that they're doing to us right now, color revolution, that's a fail because they want the whites to tax the blacks that are coming on jail attacking the Asians. That's a fail. Climate change basically is weather warfare, where they have weather weapons
right.
that create hurricanes, all kinds of storms, all kinds of stuff that they're doing basically. And the reason why you're extra hot is because of all the weather warfare that they've done since 1940 basically has started the basically Sahara dust all over the world. So if you go to certain places that snow, sometimes the snow comes up orange. That's from the Sahara dust that they made kind of go through the whole world because of all their weather warfare.
But why
That
did they do it? Why did they do it, Kirsten?
why do they do weather warfare, or why did
Yeah.
they do the Sahara dust?
Why start fires in California? Why? What's the purpose? What's the reasoning behind it?
The weather warfare or
Yeah, yeah.
the weather warfare is done to destroy crops, to raise the food prices, to
Okay,
kill people.
okay,
The Sahara dust is just one of the side effects of the weather warfare, and the Sahara dust is working against them. Even though it's making the whole earth really hot, it's working against them because whenever there's a hurricane that they create through the bunker fuel in the ocean that they dump, the filthiest fuels, and the chemtrails in the air with the lasers and stuff, which they move them at night, it's not normal. Basically, what happens is when the Sahara dust meets with the hurricane or whatever else, or meets with the tornado, it wraps around it and kills it. So that is one of the side effects that they created that's really kind of working against them because they're so arrogant. It's NASA. And NASA's not really about space. It's about space so much as it's about weather warfare. You have the Department of Defense that's dumping the chemtrails, and you have the CIA that's working and controlling them. So that's
right.
who's doing it. Okay.
Well, and you said, and this really surprised me too. You said Singapore pays. They only have they don't have any issues with their weather because they pay the Rothschilds and the Rockefellers, so they don't have issues. And
Yeah,
so,
there is. If you look it up, there is. It used to be 100 resilient cities. They call them resilient cities,
okay,
and then they have the kill cities, which are not paying. So a lot of cities, if you look it up, under the Rothschilds Rockefellers initiative, you know, it's called the resilient cities, and they have a lot of cities on there that pay 10% of their operating budget, so they have good weather. So they are doing many things to us. Let me tell you, let's go back to the seven things they're doing to us simultaneously.
okay, sounds good.
We have color revolution, that failed. The climate change, which is weather warfare, that failed because the weather weapons that they seized off the Ever Given ship, which was
Right,
jammed in Suez Canal by Space Force, which is also not about space, but it's
right,
about intel. They jammed it and they got to seize all their weather weapons. Also, 1,366 children found dead and 1,265 children alive.
right,
The vaccines were expired, and the two other ships that were that were basically doing security, the Mossad and the Barack One, were also seized. So the CIA and whoever else, the elites, have lost billions of dollars, and they're going broke. So there
Okay.
you go. And the insurance will not pay.
So then we're
Right.
making some headway. And Jean had talked about that a little bit too. And I'm glad that you brought it up again. And yeah, they're really trying to play the race thing. And I don't think people are going for it. I just don't.
Right. So the third thing they're doing is defund the police,
Right.
which is they're trying hard. Number 4 is basically illegal search, which has been exposed. Number 5 is gun grab, which is failing. Number
Right.
6 is economic crash, which they're going to do during the blackout. We're right on the brink of the blackout.
Talk about that, Kirsten. Talk
And
about
the
well,
last
listen, I'll
one
tell you
is
what.
the last
I'll
one
tell you
will be
what.
the vaccine. The last one will be the vaccine passport. So I'll talk about the blackout. Okay.
Yeah,
The
let's go to commercial break because I have to, because we're doing the
Okay.
podcast here. We got to take a commercial break. You guys,
Okay.
this is Nancy Yearout. I'm here today with Cirsten W. Her book is called Intel Drops. We'll figure out a way to get it to you guys. This is what it looks like. And this is High Road to Humanity. We will be right back. Hi, it's Nancy Yearout, and this is High Road to Humanity. I'm so glad that Cirsten W. is here today. And Kirsten, please continue on. The blackout's coming up, and I've heard this before. Tell us what we need to do. How can we prepare? What's happening here?
Well, you should have food and water, hopefully,
Right.
for at least a couple weeks, right?
Okay. Okay.
Basically, we have what is happening is they're having, as the mainstream media that's controlled by Gannett and the CIA, is saying that there's tons of cyber attacks on the electrical grid, and many cyber attacks on oh, man, the Colonial Pipeline. Can we say cyber attacks on Southwest?
Well, they were blaming Russia for those cyber attacks. And so you're saying it wasn't Russia who did those cyber attacks on the pipeline? Nah, not at all.
It was
Okay.
an inside job, and
Got it.
basically a billion-dollar company should have cybersecurity. They didn't have any. Number one. Number two, how did the FBI suddenly get the key to open up the information on the cyber attacks and get back all the money in Bitcoin?
Okay.
Okay, and the FBI does the cleanup for the CIA, so they're in together. They also hire Antifa, and they also hire, basically
Black Lives Matter.
Capitol Police. Yeah, Antifa and Black Lives Matter are pretty much one, and the majority of people in that group are Caucasian, not black. Okay,
right. Don't you think the black community knows this?
I think they do, because if you read the book and you see that one section on the payouts to Blue, what is that called? The payouts to vendors for this, what is it called right now? They have this payout to this group called Get Blue or something like that, and everyone on the list is
Okay. You guys, this book is full of information, and it's amazing and I'm so glad you put this together.
Act Blue.
Yes. Okay, cool. Continue on.
Okay.
Tell us more.
What did you want to know about the weather warfare? Is that it? Or the blackout? You want to go about the blackout, okay?
I want to go about the blackout first, and then we're going to talk about human trafficking.
Okay. So the blackout is inevitable because I said many times on my show that basically you have many audits happening at the same time. We know in the intel industry that the Arizona audits are done, and we know who the real winner is, okay?
Right.
So then we have all of those 13 states coming in, and they're doing audits too, Alaska, Missouri, New Hampshire, Michigan, Pennsylvania, all of those states will do it. So once that happens and they deem someone as an illegitimate president, and maybe if they try to seize him while he's overseas at the G7 summit, suddenly the cameras and the media are going to go out because they know that we, the independent media, will leak it out, and if our videos get taken down, other people will share our videos, and they're not going to be able to stop this we're like a bunch of termites basically gnawing at their table, and they're not
Right.
going to be able to stop. So they're going to take themselves off. What has been, and that would be Project Mockingbird, which is controlled by the CIA, which was Project Paperclip, basically. And so we have the Starlink satellite that was put up there for Space Force, which jammed the Ever Given ship, and
Right.
basically the Project Starlink, the Space Force controls the Starlink satellite, which jammed the ship, which basically the Starlink satellite is by Tesla, and they have the QFS finance, QSS voting, QSF, a lot of things that they can't cheat anymore. Also, uncensored internet waiting for us. But they have to wait for them to take their system down before we can take our system up and put our
Mhm.
system up, which is Starlink satellite, which is already up and waiting. Okay.
Right.
So
Right.
basically, once they go down, the Starlink system is going to go up. And for it to be fully operational, everything has to black out, which means, and that's 3 days of no electricity.
Whoa.
Yeah. And then,
When is this going to
the rest
happen?
of the 10 days, maybe 10 days, they're saying 24 to 48 to
I know,
72
but
hours.
Kirsten, when do you see this happening?
It's contingent upon when the audits get released.
From the states on the election.
Correct.
Okay. Where's Trump? Is he going to come back soon? You said maybe August. I feel I'm an intuitive, and I don't know if you realize that or not, but my gut feeling and I have a clear knowing of things. I really feel something's going to happen on July 4th, Independence Day. I
Well,
felt
I
that
hope
for a
so. I
while.
think there's stuff happening this week, starting today, the 17th. There's stuff.
Okay.
I'm going to be speaking in Pennsylvania at the Patriots Who Rise event next week on the 25th and 26th with Patriot Street Fighter Scott McKay, my bestie,
All
and
right.
we're going to
All
be
right.
there. And
Okay.
I'll be speaking twice. Most of them are speaking once, but I'm speaking twice because all my intel. Hopefully, I won't get a brain freeze and not be able to remember things like your
You,
Saint Demas. Your Saint, was that the Saint Demas thing? What's that called?
with the
The,
black. Yeah. Yeah. I'm
is that
sorry.
the one underneath the dumbs underneath New Mexico? You had a name for them. The Saint
Oh, it's Sandia, the Sandia
Diaz.
Labs.
Sandia.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Sandia
there you go.
Labs. Well, it's the Sandia Mountains, and that's been here. I mean, these laboratories have been here for
Yeah,
years,
yeah.
for many years. Okay, so you think that the blackout is going to happen? We don't know. We're thinking maybe within the next month or two is what you're
Within the
thinking.
next month for sure, not two. Within the next month, because the
Okay.
audits will be done very soon. They're
Okay.
speeding them through.
Okay. I want to talk a little bit about the children because human trafficking has been going on for how long you think?
Oh, probably generations. I mean, way back. I'm sure from the 1800s or before.
It's just amazing. And how long do you think, and through your research, I just want to know this, I don't know if you know or not, that how long have scientists or whoever came up with the idea, how long did they know that they could take this adrenaline, it's called adrenochrome from product from children in order to make people younger? How long have they known this?
They've known this probably for a while. I would say at least from 1947 onwards, when the CIA allowed the 1,600 Nazi scientists to come in and do all of these tests on different people.
And that's how they figured it out.
Yeah, correct.
And so when I watch a movie and I see these people who are the stars, this is all a organization. They're all in on this. Talk to me a little bit about that.
We have the CIA, Hollywood, the politicians, the Council of the Atlantic Council, which does all of the cyber, whatever they do, cyber stalking and warfare. They are all controlled by the Council of Foreign Relations, which also controls the European Union and the United Nations. And they control everything. They're the elites, basically calling the shots. And who was
Right.
in that group? That would be Henry Kissinger, who's completely corrupt, and he just stepped out, and of course Madeleine Albright, who also stepped down. So yes, they've been exposed, and
Hmm.
they control the CIA and Hollywood politicians. a lot of things. They control a lot. EU and United Nations. I'm repeating it so you
No,
understand.
no, I'm with you. So this has gone on for a long time, and it's a business because I've had Tim Enlow on my show, and he was down at the Texas Mexico southern border, and we've done a couple shows together. And I mean, this is a whole operation. I mean, these people are coming across, and the I guess the drug lords or whatever are bringing them across, but then we're working with them and we're putting them in hotels, and now we have Catholic charities who are, looks to me like, distributing them like they're distributing a product, and this is
Yeah,
what I
well,
see. It's
basically,
crazy.
the Catholic and Lutheran charities have been getting millions of dollars every year, and they've been doing it for decades.
For
And the most
trafficking.
famous person that's doing it is in McAllen, Texas. Her name is Sister Norma Pimentel, Pimentel, and there's pictures of her with kids running towards her and running away from Donald Trump. Huge murals, and then of course you have that other group in Texas named Family Endeavors that has gotten 90 million
I
from
know.
90 million from Biden, and then 530 million on top of that to house the illegals in luxury apartment buildings in Scottsdale, Arizona. So those are the companies that you really need to keep your eye on and get the funds from, because they're doing it, and they've been doing it for a long time.
Now, what are they doing with these kids? Are they kind of,
It's about, at this point, I don't really even think that the illegal situation is about the adrenochrome. They've got lots of children around the world for
so
that.
that's not it. So what is the reason?
The reason is the Liberal Party, and that includes the rhinos, would like you to think that they're very for the environment, which they're not. They destroy it with the weather warfare. Number two, they want you to think they want to help all these impoverished nations, but they really don't. They want to create chaos in the United States so we don't have a peaceful moment to think that we're being invaded by all these people. Plus, of course, the CIA in Guatemala that got kicked out of North Korea has been adding some terrorists from Yemen into the illegals that they push up here. It's not. It's not a. It's an organized thing. It's not a, generic,
Right, right,
situation.
right.
Yes.
It's all organized. Hey, listen, we got to go to commercial break. Hey, you guys, I'm here today with Cirsten W. Her book is called Intel Drops. We're talking about what's going on behind the scenes in America with humanity. Well, actually, across the world. This is Nancy. You're out. This is High Road to Humanity. We'll be right back. All right.
Yeah.
Hi, this is Nancy. You're out. This is High Road to Humanity. I'm back here with Cirsten W. Kirsten, I want to talk a little bit about what happened to Hillary Clinton. Can we talk about that?
Oh yeah. The original. You've had Gene on your show many times, right?
I have, but I've never asked him about Hillary before.
Well, he does talk about it a lot. She's the original's been gone for a while, and yeah, we only have the doubles or whatever we have left. So, according to Jean, she's been gone for a while. She's
Okay.
been gone for like 8 months, the original.
Okay.
So
Okay.
that's what's happening with her. And of course, the CIA is a clown show, so they basically have doubles or clones of a lot of different people. So it's not just her. It's a few other people in the public eye. They usually have two or three or four. So yeah,
So when
basically.
you talk about in the book, you basically say that all this stuff is happening so that the population can be decreased.
Um, a lot of things are happening to reduce the population. That would be Agenda 2021 turned Agenda 2030. That's with the what we call them the boosters, whatever you call those. You want to use
Oh,
that word,
yes,
boosters.
yes, yes.
And that's Bill Gates, of course, and
Right.
he owns the CDC, which is a booster company, shall we
Okay.
say.
Okay.
So that's he is his father was with Planned Parenthood and a eugenicist. So I guess the son's a eugenicist too,
Hmm.
and they want to like NASA says in its 2013 I think thing. They said humans are too large and move too slowly, so
Oh,
they should be eradicated. Something to that effect. So they like to put their stuff in main view because they think we're stupid and we don't get it.
we
Like
don't get it.
becoming who writes a book called Becoming Michelle? Yeah, and Lady Boycott.
Yeah, talk about that a little bit. I mean, I had no idea. I really didn't. I didn't know that whole situation with Obama and Michelle. I didn't realize. I knew he came from Kenya, and I knew, but I didn't know she or he was with him before when he was in Kenya. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Well, Michael Ron Robinson, just Google that. You'll see a lot. And that
Say it
person
again
is
for the audience.
Michael Lavon Robinson.
Okay.
Lavaujhn Robinson. Just Google it. I'm not going to say anything. You Google it, do your own work. That person is from Chicago. The other person, Barry Soetoro, basically got blackmailed to give John Brennan, the CIA, John Brennan, his position in the CIA. And because John Brennan had his ID and all the information on McCain, John McCain, no name McCain, that was funding and arming ISIS for Obama. So there we go. It's Barry Soetoro. That's the real name. I have George Nassif on, and he's got all the true paperwork to match everything that is being said.
Yeah. How long have you been? I just will ask you this. How long have you been, investigating and trying to dig at the truth? How long have you been doing this?
Well, I've been doing it for 5 years. I
Okay.
used to investigate and dig at the truth, but fortunately, I got some great, shall we say, informants slash, um, whatever you want to call that, intel people that give me
Okay.
stuff. So,
Right.
if you
Right.
read that book, you will see the
Yeah,
intel.
no, I do. And that's awesome. And I'm glad that you're talking about what's going on. People are waking up and they're starting to see what's happening. Some of the stuff you said in here I thought was really interesting. I wanted to bring up. We've got some more time today. You talk about England and the tunnels underneath London. I didn't realize that was all a whole operation, but I guess, there's the situation goes on across the world.
Well, London is one huge, deep military underground base. As we know, we have about 260 something, 66 of them in the United States, and at the cost of 66 million to build. Those numbers, 66, 666.
Oh my
And
God.
basically, a lot of the money came from, allegedly. Let's just say this alleged show. I love to use the word allegedly.
Okay.
Allegedly came from, Justice Roberts, who took $3 trillion from Building 7 and gave the rest to the Cheneys, the Bushes, and the Clintons. 20 trillion, not billion, trillion
Trillion.
with a T, correct. And they've been building these bases. They've been using, drills that are as big as my house to go underground and liquidize the rock and make it look like glass. And they've got a lot of technology that we've never heard of because we're like 100 years behind because they've made us that way. They've got
Right.
a
And
lot of healing technologies too that are
right, like the med
advanced.
beds that
Correct,
that
correct.
yeah. So when the blackout happens, and I know you don't know everything, but when the blackout happens and everything's like reset, I guess, in a way, will those med beds and things like that you think come out?
Well, first, what's going to come out is when the electricity comes back on, I assume they would have the tribunals playing of all the people that were put down. That would be John Brennan. That would be, allegedly, that would probably be Comey, who's going to go down any day. That would be John Podesta, Hillary's assistant, and head of the DNC that was gone a while ago. That would be a bunch of people that will be exposed for what they really are. It's
Okay.
like, the electricity goes, the blackout happens, electricity gets taken out for 24 to 72 hours, depending, you can't say the exact time because they might move faster or slower. We
Yeah,
don't
you
know.
don't know.
Hopefully, it was
Okay.
just 48 hours at the max. And then basically that's going to happen, and what's going to happen then is everything's going to come, not the internet and everything's not are not going to come back up. Basically the TV and the emergency broadcast system will come up
Okay.
once they fixed everything with the quantum voting, quantum free energy. So we're going to get Tesla free energy, folks. We're going to
Right.
get free energy from
Mhm.
Tesla. They have a place in Texas that has Tesla plant, and also one in, I think, in Nevada. Yeah,
Okay.
and
Okay.
so yeah, where we'll get that from. So yes,
So it's
that's
possible that the med beds will come after. And I know you don't know this, but I know you don't know everything, but you talk a little bit about the Vatican. You talk a little bit about Oprah, um, allegedly. Can you tell us a little bit about those things?
well, the three main cities that are doing the control, the the religious part, which is the Vatican. All the tons and tons of gold have been taken out of there because they kept very good records. They've been returned to the places where they came from. We
Okay.
have the DC, which is America, and we are the military arm of that. And of course, we have London, which is the financial hub. So all
Okay.
three, DC, London, and Vatican, are all broke. They've been made broke. So that's what's happening. And
Okay.
Oprah, Oprah is an elite. She had one of her homes raided in Boca Raton, Florida, for having tunnels in it. Of course, you have Bill Gates that also had one of his ranches raided in Wyoming. So yes, there's child trafficking going on. So when
Okay.
when there's tunnels, that equals child trafficking. So
Okay.
yeah.
That's what's happening there. Okay. I just wonder what was going on. You also talk a little bit about mind control, and can you just touch on that, like how that affected, apparently they
Well,
have a lot of different weapons that are way advanced that we don't even realize.
They, when they get to the children, allegedly, they electrify the cages and then they allegedly rape them and split their personality. And we can go from there. They also have adults that they mind control using many different things. Gene can get into that more than I can. But
Okay.
basically, for every event, Parkland shooting, Vegas shooting, just to mention a couple, they're all CIA events. El Paso shooting, there's always multiple shooters and
Right.
one patsy. The Vegas shooting patsy, that guy was mind control, was a gun runner for the CIA. That was Paddock. The one in Parkland shooting the kid Cruz, he never fired a shot. It was all the other shooters that did it. They did
Okay.
it so that the city of what is that city? I think it's Broward County
Okay.
got get a cash infusion of $6 million because they were getting low, and of course the victims' families don't get anything. It's the county that gets it.
Crazy. Well, yeah, and you talked about what were you talking about? I read in the book there was a lot of money from the 9/11 that went. Where did that money go? I'm sorry, I had written it down somewhere,
The
but
9/11 funds went to Justice Roberts, the head of
yeah,
the Supreme Court,
yeah,
who is very, very corrupt. That suddenly 900 million of his funds suddenly appeared recently, and he also orchestrated the replacement of Justice Scalia, Judge Scalia, who was assassinated, as we know,
yeah. I
and
thought he was taken out. I really did.
yeah,
Yeah.
he was. And
Mhm.
basically, Justice Roberts also adopted some children illegally from Ireland or Scotland or somewhere. And how many times has he been to Epstein Island? Many times on
Crazy,
the flight logs.
crazy.
So he's been to Epstein Island numerous times, as has Bill Gates, as have many people, Alyssa Milano, many, many people. She used to go by Alyssa Rogers, so she's no victim. She's definitely a predator. Yeah,
Yeah.
just
Listen, we
like
got to get out of here.
Ihan Omar. Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead. Talk about Omar real quick. We got to get out of here in
Ihan
a few minutes.
Omar, who's
But
pretending to come into the country for asylum because she's a victim. In my book, you have a picture of her in military garb, where she and her father helped. Basically, there we go. You can see.
hmm
Basically, and can't find the picture anywhere now.
Yeah.
Basically, they can go into, and help the dictator there get rid of their own people. So
And she married
the
her brother
victims
to
are,
bring him into the country.
yeah,
Yeah.
the victims are actually the perpetrator. The so-called victims are actually the perpetrators. Yeah,
Right.
correct.
I want you
Yeah.
to tell the audience, or if you wouldn't mind, what you think. You know, we know this is coming about. You say have enough water and food for a couple weeks. You know, what
Yeah.
is that? You know, what can you tell people? Is that all that we can do? I mean, when the internet, they might be panicky, but you know, I don't know. Just chill until we hear the signal from the
Emergency
broadcasting
broadcast
system.
system.
Yeah, is that what
Yes,
we should
correct.
do?
I
Okay.
mean, you should. I mean, basically, it's supposed to be 10 days. It's not weeks and weeks. I have
Okay.
weeks and weeks of food because I've had it from like Patriot Food Supply, which I do with my prepare with CW.com. I do that, so
Yeah.
they send me tons of food, and then of
Right.
course water. I mean, if worst comes to worst, if you have a swimming pool,
Yeah.
you have a
there,
source of water.
there you go. Okay. All right.
Yeah. So I mean, if it's for the betterment of the whole world, what's a few days out of our life?
That's right. That's
Yeah,
right. Hey,
right?
listen, if people have questions for you, they want to contact you, and maybe we can figure out how we can email them your book, something like that. What's a good email address, or do you have a website, or how can people
Well,
contact you?
I I really I really don't let
Oh,
them
you don't.
contact me.
Oh, you don't let them contact you.
They can come on my YouTube channel and leave a comment. But there's so many comments I can't get to them all because one of the channels has 90K. The other
Yeah.
one's got 68K. I
Yeah.
can't.
You
But
can't
I
do
mean, I would be happy to come back and
it. Okay.
answer questions on your channel of
Thank
your
you.
people. So, but
Okay.
they can always go watch my videos. I have on my underneath you see KirstenW.net, and
Hmm.
really what we need to do is all get on Telegram, because when everything goes down,
Right.
Telegram's going to stay up. You know why? Because that's a Russian site. And so everyone can go to my KirstenW.net and scroll down to all the links and find the Telegram link. You
Right.
click on that and you join my Telegram. That's how we keep in contact. I've got
Right.
like many people on there, like 30 something thousand on there right now.
I'm on
So
there too. And yeah, I agree with you. I think yes,
yeah,
that's good
so
advice to tell people.
yeah,
Hey,
we
we got
can
to
keep
get,
in touch. Yeah, there,
yeah,
and
for sure.
we won't
Well,
lose.
I'm going to bring you back, Kirsten. We'll have you back in a couple weeks to see what's going on. I don't know what your schedule's like, but we'll figure it out and we'll get you back here. And you guys, if you have questions, just send them and we'll see what we can do to get them
Yeah,
answered for you.
Give them to Nancy, and I'll answer.
Yeah,
You
I
send it.
love it. I
You
love
put
it.
an email. Put an email out there.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Hey, her name is Kirsten W. This is Nancy Year Out. We're trying to help you guys out there. Thanks for watching High Road to Humanity. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. It really does help me. Okay. All right, you guys. Until next time, everybody take care. Bye-bye.
Connect the dots and keep the motion. Can achieve your goal. Let's hit the high road.
Hey, you guys, join me next week on The High Road for more stories filled with wisdom, love, and hope for our future. Have a fabulous week, and know that by staying on the high road, you will make it to your destination. Visit my website, nancyyearout.com, where you can book a private session to learn how to tap into your own abilities. And check out my YouTube channel. It's Nancy Yearout's High Road to Humanity.
You can achieve your goal.